My mom is ruining my life. I made a Reddit account just for this because I literally have no one to talk to about it. I'm 16 and my mother is ruining my life. With this pandemic she has shown her true colors and I've seen what a disgusting person she is. To put it simply, she's insensitive, racist, and privileged. But what I have taken away from this the most is the realization that she puts her selfish political agenda before my social and emotional needs. She has been going to my fairly large school district school board meetings claiming that she is advocating for me. In reality she is there because she wants to try and politicize everything, even others' safety. The other day I almost puked when I heard her practicing her "no masks" speech in the living room. She had been repeating it for 3 hours straight and there was one part in the middle where she would begin to cry. Faking her tears. No weapon is more powerful than a white woman's tears and it absolutely disturbs me to see my mother in this light. Yesterday she screamed at me when I told her I did not want to riot outside of the school and hold up "no masks" signs. She took away my phone and I did not get dinner. The verdict that the school ruled out was that masks would once again be mandatory. My mother keeps telling me, "Do not wear a mask today. If you wear a mask today I'm pulling you out of school and you are transferring to the one your dad teaches at, etc." She then told me that she would be dropping me off instead of letting me ride the bus, so she could watch me walk in without a mask, among the thousands of students following the rules. I feel absolutely humiliated. No, masks are not ideal, but I understand why it is needed of me to wear them and I put my education before my mom's social justice attempts. Not to mention she's constantly talking about homeschooling options with my dad and is completely disregarding how I might feel. I don't have a lot of friends, at all. But at school there are a couple people I see that make me happy and the past 2 years have been struggling with depression, and I do think homeschooling would be the last straw for me. I feel so stuck right now. My mom even has papers to exempt me from wearing a mask. She has continuously been using a religion card, saying that it is her God-given right to not have to wear a mask, yet she was not born into Christianity, and actually only joined the Catholic Church only a couple years ago. I'd understand more if we were actually religious as a family, but the last time we went to church was over a year ago. We do not even go on Christmas and Easter. So this is just another one of my mom's schemes she is using and abusing, and I can't help but look at her and feel totally unloved and hatred. Her priorities are not with me. In her speeches she uses me as her daughter who has anxiety and depression. And I can't help but cry every time I think about it because she has never made an effort to get me help for either of these things. I have an older brother who was diagnosed with ADD at a very young age and my neurodivergent friends have expressed concern saying that they think I have ADHD, but my mother fails to do anything about it. And it's not like she doesn't acknowledge it. From a young age she's been using the "don't make me take you to see the doctor like your brother" card over and over again. The only conclusion I can make is she doesn't want two fucked up kids. I've been crying the whole time while writing this. I have no one to talk to about it and I'm sick and tired of my mother trying to live through me and use me as her puppet to get what she wants. She does not truly care about the masks or the pandemic, she just wants to politicize it and won't even take into account my educational needs. Edit. Something I'd like to add is whenever I'm in the car with her she plays her school board speeches. Over and over. She only does it in the car because she knows I can't go anywhere. She knows I don't want to hear it and constantly looks over to me because she knows I don't agree with her. Do you have a school counselor you can talk to or a teacher you may be more close to? You need an responsible adult to help you. You're 16 and this is child abuse. Please go to a school counselor for help if you can. You don't deserve to deal with this. You deserve so much better. I am so sorry. Your mother sounds a lot like mine. Get a job if you can and save every penny so the second you turn 18 you can get out and get away. In the meantime, you have to keep your head down. Appease her, especially if it means you'll get more freedom. Avoid homeschooling at all costs. The last thing you need is more time for her to be your overlord. Praying for you. Unfortunately, you are going to have to play the long game here. You can't change your mother, and it looks like she's actually trying to create conflict with you. This is a power game that you can't win right now. This sucks, but you are significant other close to independence. 18 and college is not far. Buckle down in school and get good grades. Find a college far away and build your own life. Do you have a dad around? He need to calm her down and help you cope. If you feel you legitimately need medical help due to anxiety and depression, and your mother refuses to provide that, you are able to file a CPS report for yourself. This sounds really tough, And you do need to be aware that if you file, a caseworker will respond to it, so your parents will be involved, and that could get messy fast. Having said that, you're your own person, and if you need help and no one will provide it, you need to help yourself. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. It sounds horrible. Just walk in maskless, then put one on. Easy Perry. Sounds like your mother has narcissistic personality disorder. Should post your story here. Raised by narcissists. I, 24F. Am resentful that my brother, 18, is getting more help as he starts his life. My brother turned 18 last year. I am 24 with a career and have been working from home in my mom's rural house during the pandemic, cheap rent. My brother is starting his adult life and getting a lot of hand-holding support that was never provided to me. I am jealous. Embarrassing, but I'm not sure how to stop. A little background. My mom divorced my shitty father and separated from the household, leaving me to take care of my little brother for a few years. I dropped out of high school in my junior year, enrolled myself in community college, worked throughout, enrolled myself in a 4-year state college, dropped out of college entirely to take a job for a nice company, moved myself cross-country to the PNW, and became financially stable over a few very difficult, very up-in-the-air years. My mom was emotionally encouraging through all of this. Her support was not very practical or educational, though. Just encouraging. Now, she often praises my initiative, bragging that I basically raised myself. I see the situation differently. Everything I've ever done has been out of panicked necessity. I had to learn to navigate college enrollment systems and job applications alone. When I was taking care of my brother, I had to Google almost everything just to ensure the house was clean and real food was on the table. It was confusing and awful and, in the moment, felt endless. My mother was absent for mental health and divorce reasons during this critical time. We still had a good relationship, and talked, and I understood she was going through a lot. I've always preferred her to my father. It's just unexpectedly painful to now see her around and available, maybe even overcompensating, for my brother as he reaches adulthood. She does everything. She ensured he got his GED. She taught him how to drive. She enrolled him in a local college. She has never pressured him to get a job, despite him being absent from school for the past year. He has recently had a job opportunity bubble up through her family that is just skirting the fringes of nepotism. She wrote his resume for it. Sometimes she'll remark things that are meant to be complimentary, like, "Can you believe how low your brother's ACT scores are? When you were young I never had to worry about these things," or, "Your brother just needs a little more help than you or else it won't get done." I can tell these might be her way of implying she is aware that she did not have as active a hand with me, but spinning the situation to flatter my proactiveness instead. It makes me feel weird. The age gap between me and my brother is significant enough that I've never felt we were in competition, so I don't think I'm necessarily mad that he's getting help. I spent a few years raising him. I want him to do well in life. I just think I'm sad that it's too late to receive the same borderline coddling. I could have used these resources, but I don't need them now. So I'm just stuck watching all I missed out on. Anyway, I haven't said anything outside of implying that my mom should step back a little when it comes to things like writing my brother's resume for him or choosing his college classes. I'm just not sure how to stop feeling slighted every time she helps my brother, who I love and want to succeed. It's beginning to actively impact my feelings towards her, and to a lesser extent, him. Should I communicate my issue, or do a better job processing it internally? Any suggestions? Look into the term parentification. What you went through is unfortunately very common. I can relate to the growing up, taking care of siblings, cleaning, cooking, doing college things by myself as a first-gen student. And my brother has literally almost never done chores. Cleaning lady, went to a private school, has his college classes paid for and hated college. He basically goes because he feels he has to. I can tell you he doesn't appreciate things like I would, but I've never been resentful. Because struggling FC King sucks, and honestly don't wish it upon anyone. I don't want my brother to grow up like I did, in fact I'm glad he had it better. Now it's up to him if he appreciates it. Would counseling perhaps help you? I would like you to feel proud of yourself for all you went through and still succeeding. It is hard to forget your hard years. You are doing well now and perhaps counseling to deal with unresolved issues would help you. You are not yet healed from the hard times. Parentification is pretty much child abuse. The fact both your parents, or any relatives really old enough to know better let this happen is sad. You have every right to be mad at your mother. Don't take it out on your brother though, there was nothing he could have done. You can most definitely take it out on your mom. I'm sorry, this is a bit beside the point, but she's making you pay rent after putting you through all that? You should tell your mother that these are not a happy memories to you, and her reminding you of a very painful time where she failed you is not helpful. Would you honestly prefer to be a helpless, coddled child? If I were you, I'd be pissed. She says he needs more help, but doesn't even consider maybe you needed that help too, and it was never offered. I highly suggest therapy if possible. It has helped me significantly with processing my feelings of resentment towards my parents' green heart. Boyfriend won't put his dog down. I don't know if this is the right place to post this, sorry if it's not. I've never had to deal with any situation even remotely like this, so I'm at a lose of what to do. My boyfriend has had his dog, I'll call her T, since she was a puppy and he was 15. She is now 14 and is not doing well at all health-wise. He is very much in denial about that and is vague when talking to me about it, so I don't know exact details. All I know is that he brought her to the vet around February of this year. They found a tumor in her stomach that they can't do anything about. The vet basically tried to convince him to put her down right then and there, but he wanted to wait it out as long as possible, as long as she's not in any pain. Both he and T have a bit of separation anxiety when away from each other. I know this is his dog and he knows her best, but I think his love for her is clouding his judgment. The poor thing went downhill very quickly. This time last year, she was going on 2-hour-long walks, hikes with us over fairly uneasy terrain. His mom lived in the same town as me, so every day, he would drop T off with her and he went to work. Both of them moved around the same time in December. Her out of town and him to my town into his cousin's apartment, who agreed to help watch T. She started having accidents in the house more frequently and the cousin was getting frustrated by it as he didn't actually want a dog in his apartment. Boyfriend was going to just keep T locked in his room all day while he worked, claiming she'd be fine. I told him absolutely not, I'll watch her since I work from home. I technically am not supposed to have dogs here at all, but she is really well behaved, have never even heard her bark. She hardly ever eats, she's so emaciated, that we were getting very nasty comments from people while on walks. He was even assaulted by someone who thought he was abusing her and the police got involved. Of course, after he explained to them she was sick, they understood. Due to the pain in her stomach, she walks very odd, which has led to pain in her back and legs, so she began limping. At that point, I convinced him to at least start giving her the pain meds the vet had prescribed. That was when he and I finally had the conversation about when he would put her down, and he told me the vet wanted to in the beginning of the year. He said he just doesn't know when it'll be the right time. She also has a really difficult time going number 2. Some days she can't go at all for the entire day. Other days, she's going out every hour and it's just straight liquid. The other night, he took her out and she chased after a skunk in my neighbor's yard, very unlike her. He's not sure what happened exactly as it was dark, but she started limping afterward. The next morning, she fell down my entire flight of stairs and she will not put any weight in her hind leg now. I told him to call the vet. He said, "What are they gonna do? Tell me to bring her in and charge me $75 to tell me there's nothing they can do?" I'm at my wit's end. I love dogs and it kills me to see her in so much pain just because he is in denial. Can you have an intervention with his closest friends and family members? He needs to know that this dog is suffering and he's putting his desires above her quality of life. Putting down a pet is the worst thing a pet owner can go through, but he needs to wake up. It's inhumane at this point. It will come, but it's hard as hell. He had the dog longer than he had you. I had to do this a few years ago, and it's tough. I'd take getting dumped over having to do that. At this point he is torturing his dog by transforming her life into a painful existence. I'm sorry, but it is not love, this is sadism. His dog is in pain every day, it doesn't eat, it hardly poos. It's suffering. I realize it's his best friend. Many people feel his pain, including me, so of course I understand him. But it doesn't excuse his actions. He's not caring about his dog's feelings, he's being incredibly selfish. Leave. Say that you cannot see this torture anymore. Make an ultimatum. Otherwise he won't listen until the dog actually starts rotting from the inside. This is unfortunately one of those situations where you might have to just watch from a distance and emotionally, mentally separate yourself from this process and his decision-making, since she is his dog. It has to be really hard. I imagine that he loves her very much and is letting his own selfish desires cloud his logical reasoning, judgment. It definitely sounds like a life learning lesson and an experience to grow. I wish you the best of luck, hope something will change soon in the near future. This poor dog needs your boyfriend to be selfless, and he clearly isn't. It sounds like the cancer has spread. She's clearly suffering. Aside from talking to him again and any friends, family who might feel the same way as you, I'd seriously consider calling animal control and see if they can intervene. Keeping her alive sounds like abuse at this point. I put down my heart dog a few years ago. It was incredibly painful, and I still ask myself if I made the decision too soon or too late, but it was always about my dog's best interests. If he refuses to euthanize her and lets her continue to suffer to the end, I would seriously reconsider the relationship. Love and codependency can blind you, but at some point he knows and he cares more about himself than another living thing. My mom's vet said to think of the dog's 3 favorite things to do. When they can no longer safely and comfortably do 2 out of those 3 things, it is time to say goodbye. My dad is a vet and we waited too long to put my childhood dog down too. Even professionals have a hard time knowing when they should do the right thing, when it's personal. The most you can do is try your best to keep T comfortable and gently try to convince your boyfriend to do what's right. He's probably trying to get as much grieving done beforehand in an attempt to make it hurt less when she finally passes. Of course it doesn't work like that, but emotions are hard. I hope he does the right thing. That dog has cancer and it's dying. That tumor in her stomach could burst open and she'll start bleeding internally and go septic possibly. When he wonders why all of the sudden she's gone even more downhill, it'll be too late. I've seen this happen to my boyfriend's mom's dog and 2 patients. I've worked at a vet hospital for a year. I am not advanced like techs and DVMs. But still I've seen it. That dog is suffering and he needs to put her out of her own misery, otherwise she's gonna have a terrible death in pain and the vets are not gonna operate on it. He needs to stop being selfish. Sister had a baby, not sharing updates or info. My sister had a baby on Saturday, the first baby in my family. Her husband called my parents and me on Saturday morning, told us her water broke and she is at the hospital. He mentioned she would not be near her phone at all and we should call him for updates. On Sunday morning, he called and said she delivered a healthy baby girl on Saturday night. Didn't give any details however, no name, weight, size, time of birth. Just that baby was healthy, my sister was healthy and both are sleeping. My husband took this call since I was out walking the dogs. I sent my sister a text on Sunday congratulating her and haven't heard back. Texts left on read. Called a couple times, nothing. Sent her husband a text yesterday asking how things are going, very vague response from him. My parents also haven't heard anything. No pictures, no updates. We don't even know if they are home from the hospital. I asked in my text but her husband did not respond to that question. I'm probably very selfish for saying this, but I'm rather hurt she gave birth 3 days ago and I still don't know anything about the baby. I know there is a chance something went wrong, but I'm not sure why my sister would want to keep her family in the dark about that. We are a very tight-knit group. I wasn't expecting it to be this way. I thought I'd at least know the name by now. I know giving birth is an exhausting experience and I'm trying hard to give the benefit of the doubt. I also know postpartum depression is a possibility. Just very confused why I haven't heard anything from her, when before Saturday, we spoke every day. Any insight or advice would be appreciated. Tia. Edit. Just want to thank everyone for their insight. Exactly what I was looking for and very much needed. It was just the kick in the butt I deserved. I realize I'm totally selfish here and I'm backing off. We'll take the suggestion of sending one final message, and then stepping back to give my sister and her husband the space they deserve and need. New situation for us all, trying to navigate it best way I can. Appreciate all the advice. I had a friend like this. We found out via social media she had given birth and were really hurt. Turned out later she had a horrific birth that gave her years of trauma, torn to hell and 100+ stitches, baby with severe jaundice and she was drugged to the eyeballs. Husband wasn't coping with having to make medical decisions for both. Breastfeeding wasn't working and PND set in. Hoping this isn't your sister's case, but maybe she is struggling on some kind of level or best case is completely in love with her newborn bubble. Give her time, but continue to send loving and supportive messages. Congratulations on becoming an auntie. Growing heart. Bruh. I'm pregnant, and I got angry reading this. Birth is traumatic. Pregnancy is tiring. She's finally done, and working on a new normal being a new mama and you're over here doing the me dance. This is not about you. You are not entitled to every detail of this experience immediately. You are being selfish, and you need to be understanding instead. Just leave your ringer on. Wait patiently and don't bug them. Congratulations on being an aunt. If you want to be a great one, respect the mother's boundaries and need for space right now. She just went through something difficult and intense and it made a family for her, best to respect her space for a bit. Honestly, as a mom, not trying to be harsh, but okay, I am a bit harsh. She just pushed a whole ass human out her lady bits through a tiny asshole. Probably for hours. And she could have possibly tore a new ass crack pushing said baby out. So she's healing after giving birth and taking care of a 3-day-old baby as a completely new parent. Hubs is a new parent too. So he's probably busy helping with baby, get food for his wife and probably helping her to move just to pee and take a crap. Woman shrugging harsh? Yeah, but that's how it is after giving birth. I wasn't wanting to talk on the phone or really text for the first week either, cuss the pain and exhaustion was a whole other level. Go easy on sis op. She's got a lot on her plate right now. She's probably asleep or exhausted. I think you might want to adjust your expectations a bit. She literally just gave birth during a pandemic and there are tons of other things going on. They let you know how they were doing. Now you can be happy they are okay and be excited about meeting them down the road. Maybe she's prioritizing herself and her baby? Not her overbearing sibling who's sad they're not updated 24/7. I understand where you're coming from because that's your sister and you love her and the new baby, but honestly when I had my daughter, being on my phone was the last thing on my mind. I was exhausted, in a fuck ton of pain from need stitches, and I just wanted to soak up having my daughter alone before leaving the hospital. Give them time, they are new parents. Stop making this about you. Give her space to care for her infant. You will be fine.